basically been frozen out.
Facing an extinction level event.
We don't fight this fight right now, you're not going to have black-owned businesses. The Biden administration has launched a Capital Readiness Program in the Department of Commerce that will allow for organizations to tap up to $100 million in grants who help black and minority businesses be able to grow their companies. Earlier today, I talked with Don Graves, who is the Deputy Secretary of Commerce, who explained the program and who it's going to benefit. Here's our conversation. All right, Don, so let's talk about these resources here, because I often talk about, we can have discussions about starting more businesses, but the real issue is scaling black-owned businesses and other minority-owned businesses.
Roland, that is exactly the issue that we've had for generations. Historically, African Americans have started businesses at very high rates. The problem has always been the ability to grow those businesses over time, to create more jobs, to scale them so that they're actually competitive with majority businesses. And that's what this program is all about. $100 million, the Capital Readiness Program, to support the ecosystem that will provide the technical assistance, the legal support, the accounting, and yes, the capital and credit that's necessary to make sure that these businesses are successful and can scale over time.
So what are we? So this program here, I mean, are we talking? Are they grants? Are they loans? Exactly what is this $100 million? And who gets to qualify?
Well, the program, again, the Capital Readiness Program, is providing support for this ecosystem. We know that minority businesses, especially in the African American community, has had trouble being able to have success over the long period of time. So what this program is meant to do is to provide grants to those organizations, including the nonprofits that have historically been supportive of minority businesses, the historically black colleges and universities and other minority serving institutions. And those grants are providing the support that they need to be able to reach more minority businesses, to essentially be there as a resource, as a relationship provider, as a connector to opportunities, to, again, as I said, provide legal, accounting, training, to provide technical assistance, and to also ensure that our businesses have access to the credit and capital that they need. And that program will then allow minority businesses to access broader programs across the federal government for credit and capital, like the State Small Business Credit Initiative, a $10 billion program that is providing that type of financial support.
So it's assisting organizations, and so it's not directly assisting businesses, correct?
That's correct. It's providing support to those businesses that for a long time have been supporting minority businesses, but never get the type of resources that they need to be to reach as many businesses as there are that are looking for that type of support, or to provide the longer term type of support that these businesses need to, as to your point, to scale up and be competitive with majority businesses.
With these grants, is there a cap on the grants? What's going to be the size of these grants?
Well, part of it is going to be dependent on the number of institutions that apply for the funds. So we're waiting to see just how many organizations and institutions across the country apply. But the key here is knowing that $100 million, it sounds like a lot of money, but that's not going to go as far and as long as we'd like. And that's why we're continuing to partner with other organizations, with philanthropies, with the corporate community, to see if we can get additional funding to support these institutions, so that it's not just the $100 million that's going to be here for a short period of time and then go away, but we're building that long-term capacity. So we don't have a decision yet on exactly how much money is going to go to these institutions. But the great thing is that the Minority Business Development Agency, the one agency in the federal government who's solely focused on the long-term health and success of minority businesses, the MBDA also is providing support to minority business centers in just about every state around the country. So we'll continue to have resources through those business centers, working closely with the organizations that are getting these grant dollars.
One of the things my brother and I were having this conversation yesterday, just the other day, because he runs and owns our family-owned catering business. They just recently won. They're part of a major food contract at Hobby Airport in Houston, Le Mans Kitchen. And both he and I have this conversation because they've got to do a build out something to the tune of $2 million. And so one of the things that we said that again, one of the issues that Black-owned business is facing, and I remember Maynard Jackson dealt with this when he was the mayor of Atlanta, is that we're able to, when we're able to fight through everything and then land the contract, then the issue still becomes, how do you then fund your business and float your business until those checks come in? And I was telling him in my case, I'm not interested in getting a loan or line of credit. For me, it's being able to access the contracts on the advertising side being frozen out. And so even when you go through all of these steps, it still is another barrier when it comes to that next level.
Roland, that's exactly right. And part of what we're trying to do with all of the trillions of dollars of spend that the federal government is going to be doing over the next 10 years on building bridges and highways, fixing water systems, on building new semiconductor fab facilities, on making solar plants and making our homes more energy efficient. Those contracts are going to go out to a range of businesses. And what we can do is build in the program requirements, whether they're grant dollars going through states or they're contracts going to big companies that are actually building the roads and bridges, et cetera. We can actually stipulate how those dollars are going to be utilized to make sure, just to your point, that companies are, especially small minority-owned businesses, the Black businesses that always have trouble, that they're able to use those contracts to bring forward the payments, to be able to get the types of credit and capital that they might not get, and that they can use that to help build their businesses over the long run, and count on that for the spending decisions that they might be making, the hiring, the capital investments that they need to make sure that their businesses are going to be able to actually perform on the contracts.
At the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation dinner, President Biden talked about dramatically increasing I think by 50%, the contracts that African Americans receive on the federal level. Is this particular program, again, a part of trying to achieve that goal?
That is exactly right. Part of what we're doing, again, is building that ecosystem, that supportive network that will allow our businesses to be more successful over the long run, to get the type of support that majority firms get all of the time. The other great thing is that this Minority Business Development Agency that was made permanent through the bipartisan infrastructure law, MBDA now has the ability to go to every single federal agency, every department in the federal government, and say, we want to see your plans for how you're going to utilize minority businesses. We want to see how you're going to track these. We need to see your performance over time, and then to go back through and say, you didn't hit your expected spend plan or utilization plans, and hold the agencies and the contractors accountable for whether or not they're sticking to their plan. So it's the first time in history we've had that ability through the Minority Business Development Agency to check on performance and then hold these agencies and just as importantly, the prime contractors accountable for their performance.
Well, one of the things that I've suggested repeatedly to the head of the SBA and others is that I know in our particular area, it would be great. We do these things called media upfronts where the agencies bring all the media folks together. It would be great if there was a federal government Black-owned media or minority media upfront where we're able to understand who literally holds all the advertising contracts. Because, federal government spends about $1 billion in advertising, but Black-owned media only gets about $51 million because part of the deal is knowing who's doing what and who has the information.
Well, that is a great suggestion. I'm going to go to the Undersecretary for Minority Business Development at MBDA today and suggest that he take this industry and look at that very issue, because I think you're exactly right. There are so many of these different industry silos where the federal government is a major player, and we just haven't done enough to figure out how we can make certain that the minority businesses that are in that industry have the opportunities, can actually pursue these contracts and can win them.
Well, feel free to give my information. I know this stuff very well. I've been working with Congressman Hank Johnson on this as well. And so whatever assistance we can give, because again, that's really what it boils down to. We can actually grow our businesses when we get the contracts. A lot of us, like for me, I don't have any debt, so I'm not trying to run out and get a loan. But our deal is we can grow with the contracts. And so again, I really glad to see this effort, because again, the federal government has the ability to really reshape what Black African Americans get, 1.67% all federal contracts. If, based on what President Biden said, you grow that by $100 billion, you dramatically change Black America.
No question about it. And this is just the start. We expect to continue to expand and grow these opportunities. And hopefully, Roland, you'll hold us accountable for all of this.
Oh, that's going to happen. Don't worry about that. So we certainly appreciate it. And again, look forward to the next conversation.
Thanks so much, Roland. Great to be
here. All
here.
right. Thanks a bunch. All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. When you talk about Blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.